Did you guys find it? What were you looking for?
Not a big deal. It's just a back
Okay. If we see it, we'll come find you then. No problem.
You want to mute? Jake, we're all good now.
Do I want to mute?
Or like put your comp on, you know what I mean? Or I can actually just mute you, we're good.
Okay. I was like, yeah, it's not a toggle for me.
Yeah, well, you have to pop, I think.
Well, yeah, but it doesn't. I just have to hold it down then.
That sucks, yeah. Okay.
So, okay.
Yeah, we're good, thank you.
We'll put back on after the national anthem.
Awesome, thank you, gentlemen.
Yep. Well, actually, I guess they don't do a national anthem. So once they're done announcing, I'll hop back on here and give you a little wave. Well into right field, and we've got ourselves a leadoff home run here as Jessie Case takes her first pitch of the day and puts it over the right field wall, and Regis has a quick 1-0 lead here in game two. They take game one 4-0. They're back here already with a lead in this one, as leading off for them as we get you the starting lineups. Offensively for Regis, it's going to be Jessie Case, Mia Campos, Alicia Martinez, Catherine Raper, Rachel Williams, Shelby Shepard, Mia Moore, Jordan Simmonsgard, Corinne Lido, and on the mound in game two for the Rangers is Megan Loveland when they come out on defense. Lexi Rayburn gets the ball in game two for UCCS, typical game two starter for the Mountain Lions, and off to a little bit of a rocky start here as she gives up the long ball on just the first pitch and falls behind 2 balls and no strikes, I should say, on Campos to get things started. Only player that we see in this game that we did not see in game one for Regis will be Corinne Lido. She is behind the plate doing the catching when they come out for defense. Defense is largely the same for UCCS. In the outfield from left to right, it's Brianna Matos, Mia Perez, and Bryn Horton out there in the grass for UCCS. Is walking on 4 pitches is Campos. She'll stand on first base, and that'll bring up Alicia Martinez. Infield for the Mountain Lions on the corners, third base, Sawyer Brewster. Back at first base is Peyton Reisman, and up the middle once again, Solana Martinez at shortstop and Morgan Hernandez-Ballou at second base. Behind the plate for UCCS this time around will be Cassidy Hubner, as she typically slides in as the Game 2 catcher and will do so again here. And Paige White will stay in the lineup offensively as the designated player. 1-0 pitch to Martinez. That one is going to miss high as well. 2 balls and no strikes. So early struggles here for Lexi Rayburn, as she was not afraid to start off quickly with a challenging fastball to Jessie Case to get things started, but Case caught up with it and put it over the fence in right field, and nibbling a little bit now as she has not thrown a strike since that home run has Rayburn, but we will see how she responds after the mound visit from Hubner.
Yeah, and it's really important for Rayburn to stabilize things, and that was a good mound visit, and we'll see if she can stabilize it here with the 2 facing a 2-0 count.
2-0 pitch on its way, and that one is going to be in there for strike 1. So good job getting her nerves back about her, does Rayburn. Two and one the count now on Martinez. That one bounces about halfway towards the plate, so 3 balls and 1 strike now on Martinez, as slipping out of the hand of Rayburn. That one did a little bit. Rayburn checks her little sheet on her wrist there, fires. That one is going to be in there, and the count is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes now. The runner on base is Campos. She walked. 3-2 pitch on its way, and that's going to be fouled back on the first base side, skipping into the parking lot here at Mountain Lion Field. Thank you for joining us for Game 2 of this doubleheader. Regis took the opening game just about half an hour ago. That one wrapped up. We've got Game 2 for you here. My name is Jake Ross, alongside my partner Matt Wagner. For all of us here at UCCS Live and the RMAC Network at Mountain Lion Field, we appreciate you joining us. As walking is Alicia Martinez, and that will move Campos into scoring position and bring up the first base player for Regis, Catherine Raper. Raper also started and played all of Game 1 at first base for the Rangers. She'll take her first crack at Lexi Rayburn and lets that one fly under her knees for ball 1.
It's really important here. Regis is kind of mirroring what they did in Game 1, jumping out to an early lead, and it's really important for Rayburn to pretty much stop the bleeding here. It's going to be in out to short for, looks like an out.
Yeah, it will be an out over there at first, and the first out of the game recorded by the Mountain Lions. A nice play by Solana, as she had runners kind of running all around her, as moving up to third base is Campos, and Martinez will move up to second base, but she stays with the play, gets a good throw over to Reisman at first for the first out. That will bring up Williams for her first at-bat of Game 2, and she takes strike 1 on the inside half of the plate.
And Martinez continuing her great glove work she showed late in Game 1. She's showing it to start at Game 2.
Next pitch to her is going to be blooped over to Martinez, and Solana over to make the play. So both outs recorded by the Mountain Lions shortstop, and the leadoff solo shot from Case is still the only damage done, though there is 2 runners in scoring position as of this moment. Shelby Shepard, the designated player in Game 1, serves as just that here in Game 2. She takes strike 1 here from Rayburn with 2 outs. That one is going to be a half-hearted swing from Shepard, and she comes up empty and falls behind. No balls and 2 strikes here with 2 outs as Rayburn tries to work out of a jam. And we've seen this a couple weekends now from Lexi Rayburn, where especially in the early innings, she gets into some early traffic but works her way out of the jam. We'll see if she's able to do so again here, but kind of something I don't know if she would say if you asked her that she likes to be in that situation by any stretch, but certainly seems to find herself there in the early parts of games. The 1-2 pitch on its way, that's going to be high, 2 balls and 2 strikes now.
Yeah, you don't necessarily like the early traffic if you're Rayburn, but as long as she can get out of it, limiting the damage, that'd be great for her moving forward.
Rayburn comes set, gets her sign, and begins her windup. That's going to be fouled way out in front of that one. Or excuse me, late on that one, I should say, as the right-handed hitter, Shepard, hits that one into the parking lot. Count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes. That one's going to be hit and caught by Morgan Hernandez-Ballou, so there it is. A couple of lineouts end the threat in the first inning for the Rangers, as the Mountain Lions this time around only surrender 1 in the first frame. The 3 runs in the first frame of Game 1 proved to be too much to overcome. But we'll see how the Mountain Lions respond offensively in Game 2, as Hernandez-Ballou, Perez, and Martinez will all be due up to start things off offensively for UCCS. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Game 2 of Regis and UCCS here on the RMAC Network and UCCS Live. And we're back here at Mountain Lion Field. A fair ball to open things up down the third baseline. And Morgan Hernandez-Ballou, who struggled in Game 1, as did really all of the Mountain Lions against Hartman, which is not any fault of their own, but jumping on that first pitch and poking it into the corner of left field. And Hernandez-Ballou has herself a leadoff double.
Exactly what you want there if you're Hernandez-Ballou. She struggled in Game 1, like you said. Didn't get a hit, but honestly, hits were hard to come by for everybody. But good job there by Morgan getting in scoring position early, and it's an early chance for UCCS to tie this one up.
Yeah, Hartman, who just overwhelmed the Mountain Lions on the mound, went for 17 strikeouts, is replaced this time around by Megan Loveland, and she's a little bit of a flamethrower up there, likes to use her speed to her advantage as she misses on that one for a ball. And you can see when she gets into her windup, she kind of uses her momentum towards home plate and pushes off quite aggressively as she ends up several feet off of the rubber towards that front half of the circle when she finishes her windup. 2 balls and no strikes now on Perez.
And you were just talking about Loveland, and you can definitely see that on her back foot if you're on her back footage if you're watching at home, just how how aggressively she really launches herself toward home.
Yeah, so Morgan Hernandez-Ballou, who was 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts, comes back in game 2 to open things up with the leadoff double. Perez reached base on her first attempt in game 1, I should say. She bounces that bunt attempt back to the backstop. She came back in that first inning. She walked to reach base but was caught stealing to end the inning. In her next 2 plate appearances were both strikeouts, one looking, one swinging, as there was no shortage of those in game 1. 2 balls and 2 strikes the count. Confirming with the third base umpire is the home plate umpire. Getting her sign and towing the rubber is Loveland. Megan starts her windup and fighting that one off to the left side of the field, trying to beat it out, and will do so, as struggling to handle it at shortstop was Jessie Case, as it was not an easy ball to come up with. Lots of spin off the bat, and back-to-back base hits here. A leadoff double from Morgan Hernandez-Ballou and a follow-up single, although Hernandez-Ballou was not able to move up since that ball was hit right in front of her. And the Mountain Lions have 2 early base runners. They only had, I believe, 6 the entire game last time, so making a quick march towards that number here as Martinez takes that one low, ball 1.
Yeah, UCCS's offense, it's pretty much the polar opposite of game 1 earlier. It's going to be 2 outs here just like that.
Yep, unlucky from Solana Martinez as she hit that one down the line, but it's going to go down as a 5-3 double play to get the first 2 outs of the game here, as Hernandez-Ballou is erased at third, and Solana Martinez is also erased at first. Standing on second, though, moving up, is Mia Perez. She's got good speed. She legged out the infield single. As that one's fouled back into the screen. One ball and 2 strikes the count now. At the plate is Sawyer Brewster, taking her first turn here in game 2, the cleanup hitter for the Mountain Lions in both games. Also back at her regular position at third. That one's hit and gets past. Holding up at third, is Hernandez-Ballou, as, I thought that she was erased on the previous play, but she was not. Oh, they called that a foul ball. So that whole sequence was my fault. I reported that incorrectly. It was a foul ball, 2-2 on Martinez. She is at first, and the bases are loaded for the Mountain Lions. That is my apologies. So Hernandez-Ballou's on third. Perez stands on second, and Martinez, who now will be credited with the infield hit and striking Ricky Rothbauer Stubbs in the back. The head coach of the Mountain Lions, also serving as a third base coach, is she gives a well wish back to Sawyer Brewster back at the plate. The count on her is 1 ball and 1 strike.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the dangers of the job there sometimes.
So that one's going to miss high. 2 balls and 1 strike, the count now on Brewster. Mountain Lions fill the bases with their first 3 hitters, yet to get a run through. Regis leads it 1-0 after the leadoff home run from Jessie Case. That one's going to fall foul. A good piece of hitting there to put it in play by Sawyer Brewster, but it's a long strike. 2 balls and 2 strikes as Regis still looking for their first out.
Yeah, and UCCS, they have a really good opportunity here to kind of take back some control of this one. And their offense, you and I were talking about earlier, got shut down in game one, but their offense from top to bottom is really strong.
Loveland gets her sign and fires. That one's going to be fought off. It's going to fall foul. So count will remain. Mountain Lion runners stayed where they were in case it did get caught. But it does fall just foul. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. The count remains. Brewster steps back in and Loveland looks in for her sign. Loveland kind of stays back to that back part of the circle until she gets her sign. You'll see her walk up and then start her wind up shortly after as that one's fouled back once again. Good at bat being put together by the Mountain Lions third base player Sawyer Brewster as she's wasted several pitches here from Megan Loveland. So you'll see she'll kind of hang back in that back part of that pitcher's circle and then get her sign, walk up, toe the runner, or rubber, I should say, and then start her windup. That offering is way out in front of that one is Sawyer Brewster as she bounces it into the screen in front of the Regis dugout.
And Brewster, she definitely is one of the bats you'd want to have up if you're UCCS in situations like these, and she's got a pretty good chance at a couple RBIs here.
2-2 pitch again, and that one's hit softly, going to the plate with it, and that's the only out they'll get as they erase Hernandez-Ballou at the plate. It'll go down as a fielder's choice, and everyone else will go station to station. Brewster stands on first, doesn't count as a hit for her on the fielder's choice, but it'll bring up Paige White, and Paige White, a big bat for the Mountain Lions in the designated player spot this time around, did the catching in game one, but Mountain Lions on base. Perez stands on third. She reached on an infield single. Martinez also had an infield single. She is on second. And Brewster with the fielder's choice. This one's hit well into left field. Will it go off the top of the wall and gone? A grand slam. Unbelievable as Paige White bounces that one off the yellow line, off the top of the wall. It bounces out of play, and the Mountain Lions have a first inning 4-1 lead.
And Jake, you were just talking about right before then how Paige White, she's a big bat for the Mountain Lions in this lineup. Again, showing it there, grand slam for UCCS, and right now UCCS got all the momentum with that, and great start to them.
It was a pitcher's duel in game one that we saw, and quickly coming out here is the offense in game two. So it looks like we may get some changes here. And we're going to take a little break while we have a pitching change early. But the Mountain Lions, after the grand slam from Paige White, up big in the first inning, 4-1. UCCS leads. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back here to Mountain Lion Field. Entering the game on the mound after the grand slam given up by, Megan Loveland is going to be Abby Covington. She comes into the day with a 4.47 earned run average. 1-1 is her record in 7 appearances. She has yet to make a start on her season, but has pitched 15 2/3 innings. That is a fair ball. It just gets over the head, of Mia Campos over at third base. And now on base is another Mountain Lion as Reisman has herself a double.
And just like that, given the grand slam by Paige White, and the innings are going to continue here. And UCCS's offense, you and I talked about it in game 1 and in the open to game 2 right now, that their offense, top to bottom, they have a really strong lineup and no real glaring weaknesses. And so far that offense, which was kept largely silent in game 1, they're coming out strong in game 2 right when they needed it.
Absolutely, and we talked about in game 1 that it just takes a little bit to get the Mountain Lions offense going. We thought we saw what could be that factor as that one misses high for ball number 1. And Mountain Lions kind of just ran out of time there in that first game as this one's hit high in the infield. Over to make the play is Alicia Martinez at second base. Returning to her bag is Peyton Reisman. So 2 outs now in the inning for UCCS. So the only 2 outs in the inning were Morgan Hernandez-Ballou, who was cut down at the plate on the ground ball fielder's choice from Sawyer Brewster. Paige White followed that up with the grand slam. Reisman standing on second base with her double, and Hubner recorded that second out. 1-0 the count at the plate. The 1-0 pitch is going to get away. And moving up to third is Peyton Reisman. So the 5th run, only 60 feet away here in inning number 1. 2-0 the count at the plate, as it looked like that pitch may have hit Matos, which is what begged my hesitation. It looked like she caught that one on her hip, but was able to get out of the way, I should say, and got back to the backstop nonetheless. Peyton Reisman moves up. 2 balls and 1 strike the count now at the plate on Brianna Matos. That one is swung through a little bit, unsure of the speed, as unable to catch up to it is Matos, and she evens the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. That one's going to be high. 3 balls and 2 strikes now, the first full count we've seen today in game 2. Covington fires. That one's going to be called strike 3, and that will do it for UCCS as Matos goes down looking to end the inning, but not before the Mountain Lions do serious damage as they get their first 4 runners to reach, and then Paige White comes up in the 5 spot and hits a grand slam. They lead it 4-1 as we go to the 2nd inning, and the Rangers look to respond, coming up to bat with a deficit for the first time today. Don't go anywhere. When we return, it will be Mia Moore leading things off for the Regis Rangers in the 2nd inning. Welcome back to Mount Lion Field. The Mount Lions lead it 4-1 as we start the second inning with strike one delivered to Mia Moore, who is leading things off for Regis. Never really got through the starting lineups for this game as we started to see action quickly in that first inning. For the Mountain Lions, the same lineup we saw in Game 1. Only difference is Cassidy Hubner slides into that 7-hole spot in place of, as this one's hit well into center field. Over to make the play, though, is Mia Perez for out number 1. It will bring up Simmons Guard for her first attempt of Game 2 at the plate. Cassidy Hubner will slide into that 7-hole in place of Courtney Heller, who was the designated player in Game 1. Hubner will do the catching as Paige White will remain in the same spot in that 5-hole of the lineup, just serving as the designated player this time around. Of course, Lexi Rayburn doing the pitching this time around for UCCS as that one misses for ball number 1 on Simmons Guard. For Regis, defensively, they're pretty much the same with a few slight adjustments in the outfield. Same two left and center fielders and Jordan Simmons Guard in left. Mia Moore up the middle out there in center. Rachel Williams, though, who did the catching in Game 1, moves out to right field here for Game 2. That one is going to be in there for a strike. 2 balls and 1 strike, the count now on Simmons Guard at the plate. Infield for Regis. Left side is the same with Mia Campos at third base. Jessie Case at shortstop, as that one is going to be just outside. 3 balls and 1 strike, the count now on Simmons Guard. Alicia Martinez moves in from right field to second base, the reigning National Player of the Week in Division II softball, as well as the RMAC Player of the Week. And Catherine Raper reprises her role over at first in Game 2. That one's going to be a called strike 2. Thought she got away with the walk, did Simmons Guard, but she'll return to home plate. And no, they did call ball 4, as it looked like he signaled strike, but instead he was pointing to first base. So it is a walk for Simmons Guard. She is on with 1 out, and that will lead to Corinne Leto, who is the only other change from Game 1, I should say. She slides into that 9-hole spot that is up to bat right now and is doing the catching behind the plate for Regis. Shelby Shepard is the designated player. Once again, she reprises her role as well in that, 6-hole spot in the lineup for Regis. 1 ball and no strikes, the count at the plate as Rayburn comes set and fires once again. Bunt showed, going to first for the single out, and Hernandez-Ballou is going to throw it over to Martinez, but already safely moving up is Simmons Guard, so she is now in scoring position, but a sac bunt is put down by Leto, and that will be the second out, flipping the lineup over, though, for Regis. Case comes back up. She homered on the first pitch of this second game over to right field. That is the only run to this point for Regis. The first pitch to her misses for ball 1. Rayburn comes set, offers the 1-0 pitch. That's going to be in there for a called strike 1.
I really want to see how Rayburn attacks Case in this at-bat, considering what happened in the at-bat when she was up in the first, and so far 1-1 count.
That one's fouled back, so working ahead now is Rayburn. We saw her opening up this inning with the called strike on Moore. It was followed up by the loud out to center field that was made on the warning track in center by Mia Perez. Walked the next batter, Simmons Guard, but came back with a sac bunt on the last at-bat to Leto, and she now evens the count, 2 balls and 2 strikes on Case. Twos across the board, 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs here, runner on second base. That one's hit well into center field. That's going to get down for a hit and will score a run, as standing in with a RBI double is Case. So both runs made here in game 2 by Regis have been knocked in by the leadoff batter.
Yeah, it's a really strong first couple of at-bats for Case so far, and she's showing that she can be a threat for for Regis, and it looks like she's got Rayburn pretty well figured out so far.
So both runs surrendered here by Lexi Rayburn go down as earned, as the home run and the RBI in the second inning by Case go down as earned. First pitch, to Campos in her second at-bat was called for strike 1. She lets the second one go for ball 1. 1 ball and 1 strike, her count with 2 outs. That one's in there for strike 2, so working back ahead now is Lexi Rayburn. We saw Rayburn earlier this season throw her first complete game shutout against Chadron State College in the opening weekend of RMAC play here at Mountain Lion Field just a couple weeks ago, as that one's fouled back out of play. Count remains 1 ball and 2 strikes, so certainly Rayburn is able to get into that rhythm and limit runs throughout the game. We've seen her give up some traffic here, but a big strikeout is swinging on and missing is Campos, and that will end the inning for the Rangers as well as a threat. But they do get a run back from the Mountain Lions, but the Mountain Lions still up by a pair as we go to the UCCS half of the second inning. The Mountain Lions lead it by 2. You're watching UCCS and Regis Rangers softball on the RMAC Network and UCCS Live. Back here at Mountain Lion Field, leading things off for UCCS in the second inning is the 9-hole hitter, Bryn Horton. She takes strike 1 on the opening pitch and watches strike 2 fly past her as well. Quickly behind is Bryn. No balls and 2 strikes, but 8 Mountain Lions come up to bat in their first trip to the plate in game 1. Ends up going for 4 runs scored as Horton takes her first crack. Already on our second pitcher of the game from Regis's side of things, as quickly chasing out of this one, the Mountain Lions get rid of Megan Loveland after the Paige White grand slam and 5 straight hits to start the game. And swinging through that one, unable to come up with contact, is Bryn Horton, and she goes down as out number 1 as Covington gets her second strikeout of the day.
And Covington early on, she definitely has her command going so far in her outing. You just said it. She's got 2 strikeouts now and might be stabilizing. Regis is pitching just a little bit, but again, it is early in her outing, so we'll see how this turns out for them.
Absolutely, and as we mentioned earlier, Covington comes into the day with a 4.47 ERA in 15 2/3 innings pitched, and in a RMAC field that gives up a lot of offense, and most of these pitchers are no stranger to getting at least some level of shelled, at least at some point. A sub-5 ERA, I mean, if you're looking at professional baseball and softball, that's not really what you're looking for. But in RMAC play, a sub-5 ERA is exactly what you are looking for in a pitcher that you want to be effective.
Oh, yeah, that's a low ERA for RMAC play, especially considering that pretty good amount of teams are in Colorado on higher elevations like that. So yeah, Covington, she's off to a really good start this year, and looks like she's off to a really good start in her outing today.
Hitter at the plate is Morgan Hernandez-Ballou. She doubled to lead off the game. She has a 2-2 count on her here as the offering's on her way and swinging through that one. And back-to-back, 3 straight strikeouts going back to last inning. And Brianna Mato says, quickly effective is Covington. Brings up Mia Perez. Perez singled on her first trip to the plate. Jessie Case was unable to handle the kind of awkward spin that she had off the bat and was able to beat the throw to first. She takes for ball 1 to open up her second appearance at home plate in game 2. She steps back in. Covington gets her sign and throws, and that one's going to be in there for strike 1, evening the count at 1. That one's going to be in a similar spot, trying to beat out the throw, and not quite, as Perez is beaten on that one, but similar look to her first at-bat. This time it goes down as a 6-3 put out, and the Mountain Lions go down 1-2-3 in the second inning as the Rangers try and work their way back in this one against the Mountain Lions, who still hold a 2-run lead, but they will have Alicia Martinez, Catherine Raper, and Rachel Williams to lead things off in their first at-bats, or in their half, I should say, of the third inning when we return. But don't go anywhere. The Mountain Lions up a pair from Mountain Lion Field. You're watching softball on the RMAC Network and UCCS Live. Lexi Rayburn back here starting things off in the top of the third inning. Misses low on that one to Alicia Martinez, who will lead things off. Martinez, her first time up, walked but was stranded on second base. Second offering to her will fall in there for strike 1, evening the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. Martinez, who, as we've mentioned many a time through our broadcast today, comes in as the reigning RMAC Player of the Week, as well as the National Softball Division II Player of the Week. She led off the day in Game 1 with a first inning 2-run home run, and then went 0 for 3 after that, was 1 for 4 as whole, and she'll bounce that one back to Lexi Rayburn, and she'll make the play over to first base for out number 1, moves her to 0-1 as she walked in the first inning.
And Rayburn, it looks like she might be settling down just a little bit here. She was able to get out of a jam in her last inning of work, as that's going to go for a single to left. But if Rayburn can be settled in here, UCCS has a 2-run lead, and that could be a good starting off point for them, potentially getting a win, but it's still really early in this one.
Well, Catherine Raper takes her first offering from Rayburn in her second at-bat and pokes it through the left side for a 1-out single, and will bring up Rachel Williams for her second attempt. In her first time up, she lined it over to Solana Martinez just behind second base, as she is quickly behind here. No balls and 1 strike on Rayburn, who will check her signs on her little sleeve and fire once again. That one's going to miss just below the knees. 1 ball and 1 strike now on Williams. Mount Lions do definitely, though, to your point, Matt, seem to be settling in kind of on both sides of the ball. They break out for that big first inning and are continuing to ride that wave to this point. But as Rayburn goes up 1 ball and 2 strikes, she's settling in on the pitcher's mound, and the defense, at least behind the pitchers for the Mount Lions, have been pretty sound all day.
Oh, yeah, the defense has been really solid for UCCS both in this. That's a really
line
good
out and a double play, as taking a secondary was Raper, and coming back to double her off as she was unable to get back to the base, and a line out to the pitcher ends the inning and the threat in the third, as ending up going down 1-2-3 in the top of the third is the Rangers. So we will step away once again. The Mountain Lions look to build on their 2-run lead in their half of the third. When we return, you're watching softball on UCCS Live in the RMAC Network. Welcome back here to Mount Lion Field. We head to the bottom half of the third inning as the Mount Lions lead it by a pair of runs. Solana Martinez will lead things off here for UCCS as they have 3, 4, and 5 due up with Solana Martinez, Sawyer Brewster, and Paige White in this half inning. First pitch from Covington to Martinez misses ball 1. Second pitch on its way, and that will fall in there for strike 1, evening the count. 1 ball and 1 strike. So Martinez reached on a infield single, one of 2 infield singles. That was a pretty nasty changeup from Covington, as that one seemed to float in very slowly, and it seemed to lock up Solana Martinez, and I don't blame her one bit, as that change in speed was something. But she falls behind, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Here comes the payoff pitch, and that will be high, ball 2.
Yeah, if you're Martinez, you can't really do much at all with that last pitch right there.
Yeah, well, and the only real parallel I can think of to quite that drastic of a change in speed is the old changeup we're all accustomed to from the former closer of the Padres, Trevor Hoffman. He had a nasty one, and not to say that this is going from 98 miles an hour to 71, but quite a difference in the throwing speed of that one, but staying on her back foot and blooping that into no man's land in right field. It falls between Williams and Raper, or is that Martinez? It was. Martinez and Raper kind of unable to, or I should say Martinez and Williams unable to communicate on that one, and a little bloop single has Solana Martinez standing on first base with a leadoff single.
Yeah, that was a really good piece of hitting there by Solana Martinez, and just poked it out to right, got a hit, and the leadoff runner's on, and good start already to the inning for UCCS.
First pitch to Brewster is in there for strike 1, and we talked about the change in speed, and the first time she saw that changeup, you could tell it kind of locked up Solana, wasn't really ready for it, but Good job knowing that it could be coming again, staying on her back foot, staying behind the ball, poking into right field. This one's hit well to right center field, but settling under it, I should say, is Rachel Williams. So allowed out for UCCS. Martinez returns to first base, and the first out of the inning will go down for Sawyer Brewster, but will bring up Paige White, who will take her second crack at the plate. Of course, the first inning grand slam and 4 RBIs already to her day, so she could strike out the rest of the way and still see this as a productive day from behind, or from the batter's box in game 2, I should say. Takes for ball 1 on the first offering from Abby Covington on the mound. Covington comes set and offers again. That one will miss ball 1, evening the count, 1 ball and 1 strike. Or excuse me, 2 balls and no strikes, I should say. Covington gets her sign, comes set once again. The 2-0 pitch on its way. Taking the whole way was White, and it does miss again. So way ahead, 3 balls and no strikes on Covington is Paige White, and no surprise here as Covington's nibbling a little bit after the grand slam given up last time, and a 4-pitch walk moves Solana Martinez into scoring position at second base, as taking her place at first is Paige White, and that'll bring up Peyton Reisman.
In UCCS, if you're a UCCS fan watching this one at home, you love to see this. Everybody in the lineup is contributing. Everyone's having good at-bats. Paige White, she had a grand slam earlier, but she's got the patience to wind up drawing what was a 4-pitch walk on 3 really good pitches to start off that AB. And UCCS, again, they have another chance to just keep working away and potentially stretch the lead out a little bit. But I've seen a lot of good adjustments from UCCS today.
Reisman comes up with 1 out and 2 runners on. She takes for the first 2 strikes and is quickly behind 0-2. So after the first pitch walk from Covington's side of things, a good response here to pound the zone and get up way ahead on the first base representative for the Mountain Lions. That one's going to miss high, though. 1 ball and 2 strikes as Reisman tries to get back in the count. And Mountain Lions, except for the 1-2-3 second inning, have had traffic every time they've come up. Covington has looked strong since she replaced Megan Loveland, and getting her 4th strikeout, as Reisman swings through that one for out number 2 and brings up the Mountain Lion catcher in Cassidy Hubner for her second at-bat of the game.
Yeah, and speaking of looking strong by Covington, as you just mentioned, right before that was a really good rising fastball from her to finish off that at bat.
So that first offering will miss for ball 1 as Hubner steps in. She's 0 for 1 with a ground out in game 2. We did not see her play, of course, in game 1, as Paige White is the regular starter behind the plate there. She lets that one sail past her, evening the count, 1 ball and 1 strike now. Covington fires. That one's going to be hit up the middle over to make the play, and moving over to second base for out number 3 is Alicia Martinez, a 4-3 put out for the 3rd out of the inning. And when the Mountain Lions come up to bat in the bottom half of the 4th inning, it will be Brianna Matos to lead things off. But first, it'll be the top half, and Shelby Shepard, Mia Moore, and Jordan Simmons Guard, to lead things off in the Rangers half of the 4th inning when we return. Don't go anywhere. Mountain Lions still holding on to their 2-run lead here from Mountain Lion Field. Lexi Rayburn goes back out there for her 4th inning of work, has pitched well to this point, dealt with traffic in the first couple of innings, but had a strong showing last time out, getting the first 3 batters out with a little help from the double play ball. Misses on the first offering to the leadoff hitter Shepard, but gets the second one to fall in for strike 1, evening the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. Shelby Shepard, the designated player in the 6th hole for the Rangers, her first time up in Game 2, lined out over to Morgan Hernandez-Ballou at second base. We'll see how it shakes out this time. The 1-1 is going to be blooped over, and a nice play to get over and make the play by Solana Martinez, as another line out for Shelby Shepard will bring up Mia Moore.
Again, it's like the ball's finding Solana Martinez a little bit, both in this game and in Game 1, and she's done some really good work out there, out in the field today, and there's another example of it right there, tracking back on that.
Absolutely, and had a little bit of a tough weekend, did Solana, against Black Hills last weekend. A couple errors defensively, struggled to get the bat going in the first 3 games, but did able to get it going with, I believe it was 3 singles in Game 4 of that game, but she has really responded well this time out in this series against Regis, and really the caliber of team that Regis is, it was important that several of their players responded nicely, and Solana is definitely filled that role and stepped back up into that kind of brick defender, solid, and has had a handful of very big hits. She put herself in position to score in that first game with that late inning triple, came around to score the only run for the Mountain Lions in Game 1. So nice response this weekend from Solana.
Yeah, she's had a really good weekend so far early on in this series, this 4-game series, Game 2 of it. And that's what you really want out of just any player, just generally, just to not have players go into just giant slumps. And if you have a bad week, you can immediately just brush it off, short memory, and that's kind of cliche, but players in softball and any sport, really, the shorter memory they have, the better it is in the long term, and Solana Martinez is having a good weekend so far.
Swinging on and missing is Mia Moore. She goes down on strikes for the second out of the inning, and that is 5 straight hitters to be set down by Lexi Rayburn as she is settling in nicely. This one, once again, bounced over to Solana, and she comes up with the quick play and gets 2 of the 3 outs here in the 4th inning as she continues to roll on defense. It'll be Corinne Lito to lead things off the next time the Rangers come up, but for the Mountain Lions in their half of the 4th inning, they'll have 8, 9, and 1 due up. Brianna Matos, Bryn Horton, and Morgan Hernandez-Ballou will bat when we return to Mountain Lion Field. Mountain Lions still up a pair. Back here at Mountain Lion Field. As always, my name's Jake Ross alongside my partner Matt Wagner, where the Mountain Lions hold a 2-run lead over the Regis Rangers. Fouling off that first pitch is the leadoff hitter Brianna Matos for this half inning, as Regis came up in the last inning, only was up to bat for 4 minutes, and that kind of speaks to the efficiency that the Mountain Lions defense is working with.
Yeah, the Mountain Lion defense, one of the things I was looking for when I was coming here today was I wanted to see just how clean their defense would be, and especially if you're playing the better teams in the RMAC, which Regis definitely is, top of the conference so far. The cleaner defense you can play, the better it's the better it's going to be really for everybody on all sides of the game, because the cleaner defense you have, the less extra pitches your pitchers are going to have to throw, and the less runs possibly that your offense is going to have to make up. So the better the defense is, the better it is going to be for the Mountain Lions overall in this.
Yep, that one was fouled off over towards our position. Not quite able to make it over to make the play was Jesse Case, the shortstop here for Regis. So a long strike, and staying alive at no balls and 2 strikes is Brianna Matos here to lead things off for the Mountain Lions. Swinging through that one as a change in speed locked up Matos and couldn't catch up with it, and she goes down swinging. That will be hit for Bryn Horton. We saw Heller in that designated player position the first time around. She will watch the first pitch go by her for ball 1, and Horton, who struggled at the plate today, will probably, I imagine, re-enter into right field as Heller doesn't play defensively. As we've said, she's still working through that injury she suffered a season or so ago. She's ahead, though, 2 balls and no strikes, but I like the kind of thought here as this one's hit well into left field. Getting up the line slowly and still out at first base is Heller, and she is still down. We'll see if she's okay as her helmet came off. Heller, we talked about, doesn't run very well, and she put that one into right field. Is going to be up and okay, but it will be an out number 2 for the Mountain Lions, as it is a 9-3 put out. And that'll flip the lineup over for UCCS, but going down awkwardly as she tried to dive into first base did Courtney Heller, and coming up slowly. She's still being kind of helped back down into the dugout. Kind of looked like she arched her back a little bit. Don't want to speculate too much, of course, but hope she's okay. This one's hit into center field, easily over. Settling under it to make the play is Mia Moore, and going down in order is the Mountain Lions 1-2-3 in their half of the 4th inning. We go to the 5th inning. The Mountain Lions still lead it by a pair of runs. That first inning home run, grand slam home run, I should say, from Paige White, still the only runs they've been able to score. The Regis Rangers will counter with 9, 1, and 2, Lido, Case, and Campos when we return. You're watching softball on the UCCS Live YouTube page and RMAC Network. Corinne Lido will lead things off for the Rangers here in their half of the 5th inning of play. In game number 2 of this doubleheader. We'll have these 2 teams back here for you on both UCCS Live and the RMAC Network for day 2 doubleheader tomorrow. Lexi Rayburn back out there for UCCS, misses on the first pitch, but gets it to go on the second one. 1 ball and 1 strike on Lido. She is 0 for 1 as she sack bunted her first time up. Rayburn gets her sign and throws. The 1-1 pitch is going to be low, ball 2. But Rayburn has settled into a little bit of a rhythm here as she's gotten it ended up being the last 2 innings, 1, 2, 3 both. She got a little help from the double play ball in that 3rd inning to end up being 1, 2, 3, but she evens the count on Lido here, 2 balls and 2 strikes. That one's fouled back into the screen. Count remains 2-2 here. Lido we did not see in Game 1, but comes in to catch in Game 2. The Game 1 catcher, Rachel Williams, is out in right field this time around, and the original right fielder, Alicia Martinez, slides to second base with the Game 1 second baseman, Flores, coming out here and not playing in Game 2. Getting out number 1, though, as going down on strikes is Lido, and that's the 3rd strikeout of the game for Lexi Rayburn. Brings up the top of the lineup for Regis, and the 3rd time through the lineup, beginning here with Jessie Case. She will take that one for ball number 1.
Yeah, Lexi Rayburn, she has settled in here really quite well since earlier in the game, but now the 3rd time through the lineup, I really want to see if she can kind of keep the momentum going forward, or if Regis is able to get through to her, and that's going to be, it looks like a double off the wall.
Absolutely, and Case continues to have the number of Lexi Rayburn, as that's the 3rd extra base hit of the game on Rayburn. Rayburn has given up in her, 4 1/3 innings pitched here in Game 2, 3 hits and 2 walks. Case is 3 for 3. All 3 of those hits have been through her, as well as the 2 RBIs. The first RBI was knocking in herself, of course, on that solo shot. The second at bat, she had the RBI double to knock in Simmonsgaard, who walked. The only other player to reach base 4 walks on the day for Rayburn. All of them in the middle of the lineup. This is a single, though, as moving up to 3rd base is Case, as she was still out there on second after her double. Campos stands on first now with her single. Runners on the corners with 1 out after the leadoff strikeout was recorded by UCCS. Brings up Alicia Martinez, not the person you want to see at the plate for the Mountain Lions in this instance. Definitely more of the lethal options at the dish for Regis. She takes her strike 1, though, on Rayburn, and Rayburn, though, hasn't been very afraid of Martinez in her turn out on the mound. First at bat, she did walk Martinez, but it was on a full count. Got her to ground out to herself on the comebacker, the 1-3 put out in the 2nd inning.
Martinez, it's a key at bat for both sides, Rayburn and Martinez. Obviously, with runners on the corners here in a 2-run game, it's key at bat. He just has a chance to kind of cut into the lead a little bit, but if Rayburn can get past Martinez and then this later on, but eventually get out of the inning with no real damage at the end of it, it'd be a huge momentum lift for the Mountain Lions.
2-1 is the count on Martinez. Rayburn gets her sign and fires. That one just comes right past us as it's fouled. 2 balls and 2 strikes, but very good contact, as since it flew right past both of our heads here, we could hear the spin coming off of that one. But good contact, but very out in front of it was Martinez. 2 balls and 2 strikes, the count now with 1 out. Runners still on the corners for Regis. That one's going to be low, and the count once again will run full on Alicia.
Yeah, the sound on that, though, going back to the foul ball, that was really solid, and that shows just how, was a foul ball, obviously, but that shows just how much of a threat Alicia Martinez can be.
Well, and even when she doesn't put the ball in play, she's still going to hit it with authority as the 3-2 pitch is on its way, and that will miss just low. below the knees and another walk. So officially 3 plate appearances for Martinez, but only 1 official at bat. She is 0 for 1 with 2 walks. I don't know if Mountain Lions are going to make a switch here. I don't think that they are, as it's just going to be a mound visit from head coach of the Mountain Lions, Ricky Rothbauer Stubbs. Never got to get to the umpires for today's games. The boys in blue this time out are Eric Vaughn, David Williams, and Hank Carrera. They are umpiring both games for today. We always appreciate the umpires' time and effort out here. We know it's never an easy job and never one that makes a lot of friends being an umpire out here in collegiate play, as that one misses low for ball number 1. Catherine Raper back up there for Regis. She is 0 for 2 with 2 ground outs, 1 over to Solana Martinez and 1 to Lexi Rayburn. That started off that double play back in the 3rd inning. That was her last time up at the plate. She's ahead 2 balls and no strikes, though, this time around, as Rayburn starting to struggle a little bit here. Bases are full of Rangers. That one misses as well. 3 balls and no strikes with nowhere to put Raper. So definitely needing to respond right here and right now is Lexi Rayburn. We'll see if she's able to make a pitch.
Yeah, this could determine the course of this game right here.
That's going to be in there for strike 1, and a big strike there, as it's now 3-1. Taking the whole way was Catherine Raper, and you can't blame her one bit. If it's a strike, it's a 3-1 count, one of the best hitters count still that you can have. But if it misses, you get a run and get to go stand on first. So a 3-1 pitch here. That one's hit up. Will it stay in play? It will, and making the catch behind the plate is Hubner. A big catch for the Mountain Lion catcher. And that will bring up, Williams with 2 outs, and what a big and important turn of events there. Ducks on the pond for the Rangers, 1 out. If that ball falls, 3-2 still.
Then the at-bat's alive.
Yeah, big situation, but right on the screen, and not easy is it to turn around, go with the spin of the ball right on the screen like that as a catcher either.
Oh, that wasn't an easy play at all by any means, especially fighting the screen there. Like you said, that was a huge out considering Rayburn was kind of struggling a little bit, but nonetheless, she was able to get the out coming back down from 3-0s. That's
and making the play in foul territory as well as Brianna Matos. So again, Lexi Rayburn loads the bases, gets herself into some traffic, but works her way out of it with 2 back-to-back foul outs with the bases loaded, and the Mountain Lions take a 2-run lead once again into their half of the 5th inning. Don't go anywhere. It's a little bit of a stalemate now, but we've got a good one here at Mountain Lion Field between the Rangers and the Mountain Lions. Mountain Lions up 2 as we go to the bottom half of 5 from Mountain Lion Field. Back here at Mountain Lion Field, Abby Covington coming back out on the mound. She has pitched all but 1/3 of this game. The first out was recorded by the starting pitcher, Megan Loveland, but the following 4 2/3 innings, 3 2/3 innings, have been Abby Covington on the mound for the Rangers. Leading things off on the Mountain Lion side of things is Mia Perez. She evens the count at 1 ball and 1 strike now. She stands in on that left-hand side of home plate. 1-1 pitch is going to be fouled off over towards us, and making the play is the shortstop Case for out number 1.
Again, that was a play that was harder than it looked for Case going back toward the line, and that was a nice shot by her to grab that one out here in the bottom of the 5th.
Absolutely, and this game has flown by as we're already in the bottom half of the 5th, as that one misses for ball 1 low on Martinez. Martinez in this game has 2 hits, one couple of singles. First one was of the infield variety. The second one made it into left field. This one's going to be hit and over to make the play this time around was Rachel Williams. Excuse me, I said that her second single was into left field. That was incorrect. That was the one that kind of fell in right field there between Alicia Martinez and Rachel Williams. But this time she is set down on the fly out to right field. And 2 batters and 2 quick outs here for Regis brings up Sawyer Brewster. Brewster is 0 for 2 with a fielder's choice, a fly out, and a run scored. This one is going to stay in the park as well, over this time to left field for out number 3 for UCCS. So 3 up, 3 down on just 5 total pitches. Very efficient in the 5th inning are the Rangers, and the Mountain Lions go back on defense to defend their 2-run lead. They've done so well to this point, only giving up runs in the 1st and 2nd inning, but we'll see how they respond going forward as we go to the 6th inning from Mountain Lion Park. Welcome back to Mountain Lion Field. Rayburn deals, and that first pitch is bounced. It's going to be foul as it went off, I believe, home plate and skipped right behind back into play. So strike number 1. It's Shelby Shepard that will lead things off for Regis this time around. Shepard has come to bat twice. She's 0 for 2 with a couple of lineouts, one to the second baseman, Morgan Hernandez-Ballou, and second time was out to shortstop and Solana Martinez. She's behind no balls and 1 strike here this time around to Rayburn, who is out there for her 6th inning of work, has pitched 5 total innings so far with 2 earned runs. That one is in there for strike 2, so way ahead now is Rayburn. No balls and 2 strikes. Or excuse me, 1 ball and 2 strikes. I missed a pitch in there somewhere. 1-2 pitch on its way from Rayburn, and that one's going to be bounced foul as well. So count remains 1-2 on Shepard. Waiting on deck is Mia Moore, and Jordan Simmonsgard will round out those due up for the Rangers in this inning.
I got to compliment Rayburn for just how well she's settled down and also been able to get out of traffic when she faces it.
Absolutely. She gets that one to She gets Shepard, I should say, to get underneath that one. She lines it out to the outfield this time, but still into the glove of Bryn Horton out there. And the Mountain Lions will get their first out of the inning. Mia Moore steps in for the Rangers. She is also 0 for 2. She's got a fly out and a strikeout swinging to her name in this game. She is way out. Looks like she was fooled by that one with the half-hearted swing for strike one.
Good work here by Rayburn getting ahead in the count quickly.
0-2 the count on Moore. Rayburn comes set, gets her sign. Fires. That one's going to be high, though, so 2 good pitches to start the at-bat, but that one misses a little bit as she holds on to it just a tad too long, and that's kind of the game, too, with pitching, especially in softball, with that underneath action. With baseball, you get that where it spikes in the dirt, but much more difficult for a catcher to handle that high pitch, but that one gets her first strikeout of this inning. Fourth strikeout of the day there for Rayburn, as she has been very effective, gets the first 2 batters to go down. This one's Simmons guard, and she'll bounce it over to first base, and that's a 1-2-3 inning once again from Lexi Rayburn. And to your point, she is settling in very well here.
No, she's making quick work out of a tough Regis lineup in her last few innings here. And even when she faces traffic, she's able to get out of it pretty well, which is really impressive today.
Absolutely. Due up next time in the 7th inning for the Rangers, it will be the last 3 that they'll count on to try and come back is Lido, Case, and Campos. But first, it'll be the Mountain Lions bottom half of the 6th inning, led off by Paige White when we return. Mountain Lions still holding on to their 2-run lead here at Mountain Lion Field. Back here at Mountain Lion Field, Paige White leading things off for UCCS takes strike 1 on the opening offering from Abby Covington, who's back out there for the 6th inning for Regis. 0-1 pitch on its way. That one's grounded over to third base, up with the ball as Campos, and she will throw out White at first base for the first out of the inning, and that will turn things over, offensively at least, to Peyton Reisman.
Yeah, both of the pitchers still out here today. Both Covington and Rayburn, they've made really efficient work lately, especially over in the last few innings here in UCCS. They have a chance to extend the lead out a little bit, get some insurance runs. We're gonna head to the bottom of the. We're going to head to the top of the 7th, And if UCCS can get some insurance runs, it'd be nice for them go into that inning.
Next offering from Covington is in there for a called strike. 0-1 now on Reisman. And yeah, we talked about it. It looked like it was going to be more of that offensive game that we expected, as that one's going to get out of play over into the Mountain Lions batting cage on the first base side for strike 2. 0-2 behind now is Peyton Reisman. But to this point, I mean, the Mountain Lions and Rangers have really kind of fallen into another pitcher's duel here between Rayburn and Covington, as that one's going to be hit in, and it'll fall in for at least a base. cutting first base and going into second, and she'll be there standing up, will Peyton Reisman, and she has herself a one-out double to give Cassidy Hubner an opportunity here with runners in scoring position. Is the Mountain Lions going to get a pinch runner out there? It'll be Brianna Jennings to replace Reisman at second base.
And just like that, here's that opportunity for an insurance run right here. Opportunities presented itself, and we'll see if they can take advantage of it.
Cassidy Hubner comes up. She's still looking for her first hit of the day. She is 0 for 2, though we did not see her in game 1, of course. So those 2 at-bats are her only ones here on this very nice Saturday afternoon. The sun's been out the whole time. The wind has kind of ebbed and flowed a little bit. Right now it's died down a little bit. When it is blowing, it's kind of blowing from that third base side of the field towards first. So outfielders would definitely deal with more of that slice than the infielders would. The first pitch to Hubner misses for ball 1. Hubner had that really nice catch a few innings ago right on the screen to kind of help get that momentum back for UCCS. She'll pop that one back to the pitcher, and Covington will make the play for out number 2. So a pop out to 1 for those of you scoring with us at home. Brings up Brianna Matos, who is 0 for 2 with a pair of strikeouts. The first one in the first inning was looking. The second one back in the 4th inning was swinging. So see if she can get a ball in play this time around for the right fielder for the left fielder for UCCS here today. Playing in both games has Matos. Matos had the other very nice play over in foul territory to end that same inning that Hubner had the catch on the screen. She bounces the first offering back, though, goes behind, no balls and 1 strike. Let's see, what inning was that those foul outs took place in? That was the 5th inning, so just a pair of innings ago defensively for the Mountain Lions. Swinging through that one right about shoulder height is Matos, falling behind, no balls and 2 strikes. And Matos just seems to be a little bit off of her rhythm at the plate today, especially when you rack up consecutive strikeouts as Matos has here the last few times up. It gets hard to see the strike zone, so we'll see how she responds. Takes that one high, though, ball 1 ball and 2 strikes. But Matt, when you're in that situation of kind of constantly struggling to see those pitches, it really takes a hit by pitch, a little bloop hit, or an error by the defense to get you going again. That is a good eye, though, there to even the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, that was a really good take there. Then I reached for that one. But honestly, yeah, just any way you can get on, whether it's a walk, hit by pitch, little bloop, bunt single even, just anything to get on just can turn the momentum back in a hitter's favor.
When, as they always say, baseball and softball, both games of failure, and fooled on that one was Matos as she leaned way out in front, did go around, and that will be her 3rd strikeout of the game, going down swinging this time around. If the Mountain Lions do come back up to bat in the 7th inning, it will be Bryn Horton, but the Rangers have 3 outs to work with. They need 2 runs to extend it at least to the Mountain Lions half inning. It'll be 9-1-2 with Corinne Lido, Jesse Case, and Mia Campos when we return. The last chance for the Rangers when we return to Mountain Lion Field. Back here at Mountain Line Field, the Rangers are down to their final 3 outs of Game 2. Missing on her first offering of the inning is Lexi Rayburn, who is going for her chance at a complete game. That one's going to be in there, evening the count at 1 ball and 1 strike on Lido.
Really impressive work by Rayburn to settle down at times, and when I've mentioned it before, but when she's faced traffic, she's gotten through it pretty well. That's going to be Martinez out at short for the out, but she's done really well settling down, and the one thing that Regis is going to want to do is just extend at bats as long as they can. Don't reach for anything, and just pretty much don't force the issue. You still have a little bit of time left, 2 outs remaining. You're only down 2, so they would just have to get 1 runner on to potentially be in position to tie this one up with a homer. But as long as Rayburn can keep on doing what she's doing, getting the out right there, UCCS is in a pretty decent position to get out of this one with a win.
Well, and this is the test of the inning for Rayburn. It's always a good sign when they're starting their 4th trip through the lineup in their last at-bats. That means you've been very efficient as a pitcher, and here it will be the 4th time through. Missing on that one, though, evening the count, 1 ball and 1 strike on Case. But Case, of the 3 hits, the first 3 hits of the game, there's been a couple since then, but were all by Case. Did she offer at that one? No, she did not. Ball 2. 2 balls and 1 strike now, the count on Case. But if you can get through Case, it's going to be, theoretically at least, smooth sailing the way the rest of the lineup has gone for Rayburn. A lot of room to work with, though. That one is going to be fouled out of play down the first base side. 2 balls and 2 strikes now on Case.
Yeah, and Case has really been the only one to consistently have Rayburn's number, and like you just said, as long as Rayburn can get through Case, then yeah, it could be smooth sailing following that.
That one's fouled back again on the first base side. That one will skip into the parking lot this time around, so somebody will have to go chase after it for the Mountain Lions, who are still in the dugout, as it's a little bit of an unwritten rule in collegiate sports that whoever is the home team sends a red shirt out there to go get those stray foul balls. This one, once again, wasted by Case on that first base side, so count still 2 balls and 2 strikes, though we're 6 or so pitches into this at-bat now.
Another good at-bat by Case, too, just to keep this one alive as long as she has.
Absolutely, as Rayburn gets her sign, comes set, and offers. That one's going to skip, almost getting her to chase it, did Rayburn, but Case way out on her front foot. You could tell that she was thinking about firing at it, but stays patient and stays back. 3 balls and 2 strikes. This one's hit well, and this is going to get over the fence. Wow, that one was clobbered. Another solo home run by Case. We told you that she has had the number of Lexi Rayburn here today, and her 3rd RBI of the day. She has hit in all 3 runs and accounted for 2 of the runs herself, as that's their 2nd long ball. And the Mountain Lions only up by a single run here. They've got to be careful. No more room to mess with as Campos comes up. She, on her day, is 1 for 2 with a strikeout, a single, and a walk. Rayburn trying to put the icing on her 4th complete game of the year. Would love to see it be a win without having to send her offense back up to the plate. Offers strike 1 there. The 0-1 pitch is on its way. That one's going to be in there for strike 2. Caught leaning on that one was Campos, but getting the strike is Rayburn, as that one caught the outside half.
Really nice job by Rayburn to rebound after giving up that home run.
That offering is going to be a bit high once again. Typically with those 0-2 pitches, you will see a ball out of the zone trying to get the batter to chase. Standing pat, though, is Campos. The 1-2 pitch on its way this time, and it's going to be fouled over towards us. That will land in play, but in foul territory. The count will remain 1 ball and 2 strikes on Campos. Mount Lions dugout calling out some signs to their defense. This one's going to be hit high in the air towards right field. Over to make the play is the right fielder for the Mountain Lions. And down to their final out here at Mountain Lion Field in Game 2 is the Rangers. And it will be the reigning RMAC Player of the Week and reigning National Softball Division II Player of the Week in Alicia Martinez. And she has the opportunity to tie the game. So typically when you find yourself in this situation for Lexi Rayburn, it's always going to be that nitty-gritty middle part of the lineup as it is here, as that one misses low for ball 1.
And honestly, yeah, as long as this pitch coming up here is pretty big, 1-0 count, you want to get it back to 1-1 if you're Rayburn, but ultimately just this is probably the most dramatic way to end this game right here, considering who's up to bat and situation. It's perfect way to end this one, honestly. It's been a really good game from both sides.
Yes, and a very good one all the way through. Turned into a little bit of a pitcher's duel in the middle innings. There's a lot of zeros on those middle innings on the scoreboard here. That one's going to skip for ball 2. 2 balls and 1 strike now on Martinez. And any pitcher, any position player will tell you the final out of the game is always the hardest to get, and it's the biggest name in the lineup here for Regis, at least to this point of the season in Alicia. And that one's going to be up in the air, should be an out if the Mountain Lions can get there, and they do. That will be the game, and the Mountain Lions win Game 2 by a score of 4-3 as they come back and ride the first inning grand slam from Paige White all the way out, and they take Game 2. So going into day 2 at least of this game, of these games tomorrow, we'll be back here for you and thinking about how this one went so far. Matt, the Mountain Lions take Game 2 decided in the first inning. It was the Rangers in Game 1 that took it decided in the first inning. So you know Game 3, Game 4 from the get-go is going to be really important. I would not be surprised if we saw Crenshaw and Hartman back out there for Game 3, and we'll probably see Rayburn and a similar matchup in Game 4. So kind of a little bit of a sneak peek of what's to come tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow's going to be a really good set of games, and if today was any indication, I'm not going to say there's going to be a 17 strikeout game on the other side, nor a really good game from UCCS from Crenshaw. And then in Game 2 today was really impressive too. I'm not going to say it's going to be all that per se, but it's going to be 2 really good games and with 2 really good teams. And you saw out there today, it was clean defense really from both sides. The offense, the offense did really well. The offense did really well. Just everything was working for both teams in multiple categories tonight, and that's really what you want to see, both as a neutral. And if you're a UCCS fan, it was a really good job by them to get through the obstacles that they faced earlier in this game too today, as they did face some traffic. Rayburn got through that really well. Ultimately, they got a win. So two really good games with 2 really good teams. Split the first 2, and we're going to head into tomorrow, with 2 more. I'm really looking forward to it, and you should be too, and I'm sure you are too, Jay.
Absolutely. It's going to be a good finish to this 4-game, 2-day doubleheader matchup. And just to go back, shout out to Kylie Hartman of that first game, one of the best individual performances that I have ever seen in person. So credit to her. Crenshaw did great, fell a little bit behind there in the first inning, but responded well. Rayburn, a very complete performance here. Gave out that late run, a couple of early earned runs, but holds off the Regis attack, and a very big credit to Abby Covington essentially starting this game. She is not the pitcher of record. It will be Megan Loveland that takes the loss in game 2, but a great overall effort from both sides. It will be a very good day of softball again here at Mountain Lion Field tomorrow. Jake Ross, Matt Wagner will both be back here to bring you the action, but from today, Mountain Lions and Rangers split the first day of doubleheaders, one apiece for all of us here, our camera crew, those of us in the truck, and the athletic department from UCCS. My name is Jake Ross saying so long from Mountain Lion Field.